Doctor suggested me to went for some mental consultation because of my mental stress. Study abroad is always lonely. I came to Australia in 2019. I live alone, I study alone, and I travel alone. So it's not like when I was in China that I went to everywhere. I can always find one or two of my friends in that city. So that's different. That's totally different.
The first time I noticed her is because during a really big conference, she just stayed in the corner of the big room and she said nothing, just stay here. So I really want to say something to her and bring her to the social environment.
I feel quite isolated at that time, and I didn't make any friends because basically it's because of the cultural barrier and the English, the language.
Living overseas is not easy for students who are studying abroad because they are facing a lot of challenges such as language barrier and cultural difference.
I have never lived alone before. When I was in China, I always lived with my families and live in the dormitory with my roommates. And if I went to everywhere, I would always have companies. But here, I go to supermarket by myself. I go to study by myself. I go to everywhere by myself.
For me and for her, we come back to my own country for almost 2 years or 3 years. I think 3 years. So it's a really terrible time for us. Like we can't see our families for nearly 3 years.
I can imagine how difficult and hard for her because she can't see her family and friends for 3 years. She must be very homesick. I'm feeling so sad for her. It must be quite a dark time.
I can only stay in Australia because I have to continue my study.
I really saw her have a video call with her families, and she always nearly cried.
I hadn't realized that the life here in Australia was too much for me until that one day I lost the hearing of my left ear.
And then one day she told me that one of her ear can't hear anything. So I took her to a GP.
The doctor said that it was all fine. There's no problem with my ears, and the doctor suggested me to went for some mental consultation because he thought that it should because of my mental stress. I was too stressful at that time.
I think Jaja was very stressed during the past 2 years, 3 years. And every time when she met some unhappy things, she liked to share to their families and ask for some help. But for now, she couldn't tell everything to her parents because they don't want to them worried about her. And she just put everything in the heart.
I didn't even tell my parents because I'm afraid that they would feel they would worry about me too much.
And another reason for it is I think the homesick. And for the last one, I think is the stress from the work. Because like I said, she is a really hardworking person, and she devotes all of her time on the working place.
I think she's a very hardworking person, and she is a perfectionism. She always wants to be the best, and she was too strict to herself.
I studied quite hard at reading scientific papers to make myself recognized by others. I want to prove to others that I can make it. I can overcome all the difficulties, and yes, I can finish my study here. is our roommate, Candice.
We go to a K-pop dancing studio every week. She very enjoying it, and everybody loves her.
And things changed since last year, and she became more positive than before. And when we invited her to some like parties or some group activity, she would say yes, but it never happened before. So I'm really surprised for the change.
我们可以手牵手吗？我有点紧张。
I know Bella is one of the member of Asian Union student at UK now, and she wants to help more people who's facing mental health and suffering depression just like her.
If you have any questions and you need any support in life or studies, we are always here to support you guys and help you guys. We are always stand with you all the time.
I think that's a very meaningful stuff to do. I'm very proud of her.
I'd like to tell the Chinese student my experience and all my feelings, that I want to tell them that you are not alone.
I'm just a student at the University of Queensland, a second year student. As we are standing here, we are going through many assignments, many assessments that we're going through, and it's almost due here. It has been hard, but always been here. We're kind of still working, still surviving. So it has been grateful. I'm grateful for all my friends here. I'm grateful for my family. So I guess all we students are doing very well. And yeah, thank you guys. Thank you.